You come home tired from a rough day at university or work. You probably bombed a test or got yelled at by your boss. You're feeling low and you're feeling stressed. You have a quick look at your phone and there's this food delivery app that sparks excitement in your brain. You know that ordering fast food will numb you out and stop you from feeling what you're currently feeling. The cravings kick in and now you're no longer the driver of your life. It's rather someone else, or should I say something else, that is now making decisions for you. Although there's a faint voice of reason that remains and asks you not to order it, as you're going to feel shitty right after consuming fast food, the voice is weak and eventually fades away. Your meal arrives, the anticipation gives you that peak dopamine hit. You churn through that meal, and to no one's surprise, you start feeling shitty right after you finish eating the food. You promise yourself to never do it again, but as soon as the next stressful event arrives in your life, or when you're bored, then the cycle repeats itself. This was me a couple of years ago. I was using fast food as a coping mechanism. Each time I got stressed, felt anxious, or felt depressed, I used fast food to numb out those feelings, which in turn made those very feelings far more intense in the long run. And this turned into a very vicious cycle. Fast food became both the cause and the cure. I had tried the conventional advice, oh, just eat in moderation, oh, just have junk food twice a week, etc., etc. That did not work for me. I found that fast food was more of a drug at this point, and it was something that was rather difficult to moderate. So one fine day, when I was at my absolute lowest, having consumed garbage all day, I decided I needed to make a drastic change. I remember watching a video on fasting and I decided to give it a shot. I decided that I needed to take a more aggressive approach because I just had enough of it. I went on a 48-hour water fast. I decided that I am not going to consume food for 48 hours. The first 13 to 14 hours were kind of okay. I remember watching a lot of videos and podcasts on fasting and noting down its benefits such as cellular repair and autophagy, heart health, brain health, inflammation reduction, cancer prevention, and the list can go on and on and on. This kept me motivated and going. However, after the 24-hour mark, I started feeling incredibly uncomfortable. My body was just not used to operating without food. I was feeling jitters and a bunch of other emotions. I remember waking up in the middle of the night and feeling hungry. But lo and behold, once I was on the 44-hour mark, I realized something incredible. I realized that I did not crave fast food anymore. Don't get me wrong, I felt hungry for sure, but I did not crave fast food. I craved something else. I craved whole natural food. I remember thinking about rice and mashed potatoes and just salivating. This was rather odd to me, because years and years of consuming highly processed and highly stimulating food had desensitized me to natural healthy food. Like when I was eating McDonald's every single day, I did not enjoy eating regular natural food. I was just so desensitized to it that it did not even feel satiating enough. Like you're not going to enjoy consuming an apple after you have had a shake that contains 3 scoops of ice cream and a whole bunch of sugar in it. What this 48-hour fast had done was that it had reset my sensitivity levels. I realized that I could now enjoy eating natural whole foods and had absolutely no craving for fast food. It was almost as if my memories of fast food had been wiped off from my brain, and I no longer remember what fast food tasted like, and therefore my body did not give me any cravings. Like you can't crave something that you have never had before. Once I finally broke my 48-hour fast with healthy food, I remember having to rush to the washroom immediately afterwards and having like a massive dump. Since I had not eaten anything for 2 days, this could only mean that this nasty looking semi-solid dump was composed of stuff that had been in my digestive system, and the 2-day fast allowed my body to finally address it and clear it all out. I just remember feeling incredibly amazing and light. It's like a very heavy weight had been lifted off my shoulders. Like think about this. When you eat processed food, you're consuming stuff that never existed in nature. This was something that was designed in some lab and was modified to be highly addictive through a bunch of additives and processes. And now your digestive system has to try and digest that. Think about the damage something like this would do to your system. It's like putting It's like putting soda in your car's fuel tank. Think about how it would absolutely wreck your car, and your body is no different. I was putting a kind of fuel that my body was simply not designed for. The combination of fasting and eating healthy foods to break my fast greatly healed my gut, and once my gut was healed, I started to feel rather amazing. The next day after the 48-hour fast, I realized that the quality of my sleep had improved significantly. Back when I was consuming fast food, I remember having insomnia and not being able to fall asleep at night, always tossing, turning, waking up in the middle of the night. But after fasting and consuming a healthy meal, I slept like a baby, and I required far fewer hours of sleep and woke up motivated and energetic. Now that my body was not spending all that amount of energy into digesting garbage food, it could now allocate it to other tasks and required far lesser sleep. After seeing these incredible results from the 48-hour fast, I decided to do a series of shorter 23-hour fasts. This is also called as OMAD, which stands for 1 meal a day. I decided that for the next 30 days, I was going to only eat 1 meal a day. Those 30 days of only eating 1 meal a day were perhaps the best days of my life. I remember feeling incredibly happy, motivated, and my mental health being amazing. My default response to stress and anxiety was no longer just to jump to fast food. Moreover, I did not feel stressed or anxious to the degree that I felt before. It's like fasting restored my digestive system and my nervous system to their default settings. Fast food had greatly damaged these two systems, and fasting sort of put them back into their factory settings. These 30 days were also the most productive days of my life. During these 30 days, I was able to add on a bunch of other healthy habits such as taking cold showers, reading, praying, etc. When I was consuming fast food, I had no motivation or energy to perform these habits and therefore was never consistent with them. But fasting gave me this burst of energy and desire that had a snowball effect. One good habit led to the other, and by the end of 30 days, I was an entirely new person. I also recall having terrible attention span. Like I remember not being able to concentrate on a topic for longer than 20 minutes. And I also recall not being able to sit still and always having this chaotic energy inside me. Quitting fast food and incorporating fasting completely changed that. By the end of the 30 days, I could now do 4 hours of deep, focused work. Quitting junk food and fasting, coupled with other good habits such as fixed sleep schedule, cold showers, prayers and exercise, had transformed me as a person. The saying "you are what you eat" is absolutely true. There you have it, folks. This is how quitting fast food and incorporating fasting vastly improved my life. If you enjoyed this video, then make sure that you give it a like, and if you're interested in more content that revolves around self-improvement and productivity, then do hit that subscribe button. In the meantime, keep the ball rolling and keep self-improving.